To be in there. Good afternoon. Aybowan. Good.
Aybowan.
මේ මට මේ බිම්සරත් එවලා තිබුණා මේක. Right. Anyway, I'm looking forward for this always.
මම දැක්කේ වෙලාවේ තමයි මොකද මම කම්පියුටර් එක අරලා තිබුණේ නැහැ උදේ.
Right. Okay.
කොහොමද හම්බුණානේ නේද?
I look forward for this. කාලීන ධම්ම සාකච්ඡා.
කාලීන ධම්ම සාකච්ඡා.
ඔව්.
තෙරුවන් සරණයි භික්ෂුණීන් වහන්සේ.
තෙරුවන් සරණයි. කොහොමද පද්මිනී?
හොඳයි, හොඳින් ඉන්නවා. කරදරයක් නැහැ ඉතින්.
අද මං හිතන්නේ පුෂ්පයිනේ නෑ කියලා.
එයාට ඉන්න වෙන්නේ නැහැ. එයා මේ රළේ ඇවිල්ලානේ දුවලා ගෙදර. එයාලා මූව් වෙන ගෙදරකට යනවානේ. මං අද බඩු එහෙම ඔක්කොම ගෙනියනවා. දැන් මේ කීයටද මන් දන්නේ එතනට යන්න ඕනි කිව්වා. ඒක නිසා එයාගේ ඒවා මුකුත් පාවිච්චි කරන්න බෑයි කිව්වා.
කිව්වා මටත්. ඔව්.
ඒක තමයි. එමයි.
මම ඉතින් අහන්න හිටියේ දැන් තව ඉස්සරහට යහන්න ඕනේ ඒක.
එමයි.
නෑනේ ඔක්කොම. මොකක්ද ඊළඟ සැරේ කරන්න කියලා. Have you all any ideas or suggestions?
අද ඔබ වහන්සේ කරන්නේ අන්තිමට මොකක්ද අද කරන එක?
සතිපට්ඨාන සූත්‍රනේ.
සතිපට්ඨාන. ඊට පස්සේ
දැන් අද කරන්නේ ඒ කරපු එකේම තියෙන වචන ටිකක් තව විස්තර කරන එකයි මම කරන්නේ.
ඔව් එහෙමයි ඔබ වහන්සේ කිව්වනේ වචන ටිකක් ඒවත් තේරුම් කරනවා කියලා. ඊට පස්සේ එතකොට මේ පුළුවන් මන් දන්නේ මං කරන යෝජනාවක්. මොකද්ද මං හිතන විදිහට impermanency, unsatisfactory, and what is the wrong views?
Excuse me.
So,
hello. Yes. Say it again, Deepa. You have not got the link today? Oh dear. Then shall I send it now? Can you try the earlier ones that I have sent and see whether you can get it? No? Okay. I have opened the window. So anyway, I'll try. Yeah. Okay, bye.
So many wouldn't have got the invitation this time.
Got the...
Because I didn't get. Normally I get it midweek or early week. So yeah, because I didn't get, I just wondered whether my name was accidentally omitted. So that's why I wrote to you and told Bimsar also. It's Madhava who is doing it.
I don't know really. One of my friends has not got it, so I was wondering whether I could send it to her.
I just heard you telling so.
Yeah, so let me see whether I can send it to her. I have sent it to her. I don't know whether if she gets it, she will come back.
Just a suggestion, Bhikkhuni.
Yeah.
Today, just a suggestion. Today, people are so greedy for money. They want millions and millions. Not that they can use it always. And or even in America, people lying. Even in back Sri Lanka, people just lie. Without batting an eyelid, they'll just lie. And I don't know
there were
whether...
many, I saw that there were many deaths by gunfire.
Yeah. And I mean, people lying.
You know, one thing, Bhadra, even Buddha has said that we can't somehow change other people's minds. We can only change our mind.
I don't know. I think because
it's time now, I think. We'll talk later, right?
And leaders lying. I just can't stand. I will never lie. Even I have to die, I will not lie.
Okay. So let's start then.
Okay.
Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Friends, this Saturday, 6th August 2022, we look at a few words that we came across in our last Dhamma talk. I like to take first the word bear attention. Now, I must tell you, this word was coined by Venerable Nayana Ponika Thero. He was a German bhikkhu who lived, now he's not living, in the 19th century, I think, in Sri Lanka. And also, he translated many of the suttas. And when he translated the Satipatthana Sutta, for the word sati, he used this their attention as an aspect, a characteristic, or a way of understanding sati, or a way of practicing sati. Sati, you know, sati is mindfulness, and this their attention is how to practice this, right? When you use bare attention. So I just wanted to explain it to you so that you will know what I am talking about. So now bare attention is a way of looking or being aware of what actually happens to us, or actually happens to us, or within us, inside us, with a clear purpose and decision. When something strikes our senses, when something, you know, comes across our senses. The word attention presents the idea of activity or action. Naturally, when you say attention, there is some kind of action within it, right? But when it is joined with bare, it becomes a passive way of looking at things. That is, just noting what's happening in the moment, in the present moment. without reacting. Now, when we see something, we, naturally react quickly. But without that, just to note it, to see it, or to understand it, to be aware of it, right? That is bare attention. Now let's look at it more. The function of bare attention is to provide us a firm and stable vision when faced with various changes and challenges. You know that the world always presents us with challenges or changes, always changing. Even we are changing, right? When any of our six senses are initially focused, at first focused on something like a form, right? Or sound, smell, taste, touch, or anything like that, any of the senses, the mind is not ready to react if we are with bare attention. If we are practicing bare attention, we won't be reacting as soon as something comes into our senses, right? It's a detached or unattached noting without judgment or taking in any of the details. The word details is in the suttas is given as signs. Now, like for instance, that girl has beautiful hair, or curly hair, or straight hair, or that one has white teeth, like that, signs, right? Details. The observer is not involved and is standing back, so that it's only a seeing, a sound, a smell, or a figure. It's not anything more than that, right? You don't look for the details. Our mind is always confused, untidy, in the sense that many thoughts and ideas crowd in our minds, and each idea or each thought or each emotion tries to come to the surface. This is due to not being mindful of our thoughts, words, and deeds. Right through our present life, in the present life, right? In this life, we are not mindful. And as the Buddha has pointed out, in many past existences, not only this life, even in the past, right? If we practice bare attention, we'll realize how our daily experiences teach us to give up our normal, impulsive tendency of obeying blindly the dictates of the mind, and instead rest in a detached awareness which will be unbiased. We don't take this side or that side, unbiased. Our ancestors had an interesting way of judging whether a particular student was suitable to be a surgeon, right? When he was studying medicine. Our ancestors, I'm talking of thousands of years ago, right? For he would need that kind of detached awareness in his calling, that is, as a surgeon. He was given, now this is the way they tested him. He was given a bowl of water with a lotus leaf placed on it. The student had to make a slight cut through the length of the leaf without cutting it entirely or letting it go under the water. Now, force will, if you force it will either cut it entirely into two or press it into the water. So he had to use his hand very gently and also be extra mindful. This is the practice of detachment that we are talking about, right? When we meditate, by learning to stay with bare attention, we could observe thoughts without identifying with them. When we hear a sound, let it be only a sound without naming and having an emotional reaction to it of liking or disliking it. For consciousness to stay as bare perception, it needs to rest in the body. When meditating, even a slight pain will cause the mind to rebel and thus end our concentration, our samadhi. Sometimes the hindrances in the form of past disappointments, dissatisfaction, irritation, anger, etc. will disrupt the calm and stillness of the body and mind. Now, this is when we are meditating. On both conscious and subconscious levels, the mind can be our best friend and ally, and also our worst enemy. Sometimes it's necessary to develop counter strategies to stop the mind from creating mischief and harm. Training in mind watching is an art, for it needs to discover the hidden intentions of the mind that are sometimes not visible to the practitioner. The practice of bare attention is carried on in one's environment, senses, bodily sensations, emotions, mind, thoughts, and memories to help this process. This process means the process of understanding the mind, to see the mind, right? While at work or in our daily routine, it is useful to make a habit of checking oneself to see which sense is being used at that particular moment. Now, for example, am I using my eyes? Am I using my ears or nose or mouth or body, etc.? Then one could see the feelings of liking, disliking, or neutral arising and passing away. This way of noticing the sense will help one to practice dependent origination, paticca samuppada too. We'll understand how this present experience is linked to a series of events that came earlier, and thus it is dependently arisen. It is not suddenly arising, it is dependently arising on those past experiences. If we can separate the object from our personal judgment, it will give us a truer picture of it. An analogy is how a scientist will clean a specimen before keeping it under the microscope. When we prepare our specimen with bare attention, impurities like dislike, anger, or prejudice will be cleared by wisdom. Can you see? Before we encounter something, before we say something or do something or whatever, our wisdom, when we are using bare attention, our wisdom will tell us what to do and what not to do, right? Without, sometimes we just do things on the moment, at the moment, just without thinking, like that won't happen. At the start of our practice, labeling or naming various objects that we notice through our senses, such as seeing, hearing, thinking, etc., will help us to focus and keep our attention on how our body and mind relates to the particular object. Now, if you are looking, you can always, think in terms of seeing. If you're reading a book, you can think, or you can reading, like that, whatever you're doing, if you, name it, label it, but only at the beginning of your practice. Normally, we are unable to see things as they truly are, for our view is always colored by our self-interest. If it's a person, we don't see that person, that one who is in front of us, as a consciousness living inside the body, like ourselves, but rather as an individual, a being set before us, and we have to somehow deal with him or her. That's how we normally think. Okay, now that is what I thought might give you an understanding of bare attention. If you did not, please ask questions at the end of the, the whole thing. At the end of it, please ask questions. The next word I thought was fetters. Now, fetters in Pali is called sangyojana. Sangyojana. In Buddhism, fetters are defined as the mental chains or bonds that bind all sentient beings to the cycle of life and pain, sickness, suffering, and death, known as samsara. Now, can you see samsara is all this? The Buddha says that all beings have been wandering in this cycle of repeated birth and death, that is called samsara, with no apparent beginning. Buddha never talks of the beginning, but he always talks of the end. Samsara is not a place or a particular plane of existence, but a process stimulated by ignorance, that is avijja, craving, tanha, and the intentional actions we perform, that is kamma, through which we continue from one life to another. All these are backed by avijja or ignorance. There are 10 fetters classified in the Dasa Sangyojana Sutta of the Anguttara Nikaya, of which the first 5 are called lower fetters, or Orambagiya Sangyojana in Pali. Orambagiya Sangyojana are said to be earthbound and heavy, for they are compared to moisture and are said to be earthbound. That is because they are, more earthy, as you would say. The other 5 are called higher fetters, and they are known as Uddambagiya Sangyojana in Pali. Uddambagiya. They are light and are compared to heat, so that they make beings lighter, and away from the earth. All 10 are obstacles to enlightenment. The 10 fetters are, now these I'm naming them now, Sakkaya Ditti, self-identity view, Sakkaya Ditti. Vichikicha, skeptical doubt. Silabbata Paramasa, attachment to mere rituals and rites and rituals. Kamaraga, sensual desire. Patiga, ill will. Ruparaga, desire to be born in the material world. Aruparaga, desire to be born in formless worlds. Mana, conceit. Uddacha, restlessness, ignorance, avijja. Those are the 10 fetters, right? The first one is called Sakkaya Ditti. You know, we have a lot to do with that. Sakkaya means the 5 aggregates of clinging, and Ditti means view, the view of the 5 aggregates of clinging, Sakkaya Ditti. We think that they are solid beings, which leads to the illusion of a separate self. I am Sudinna. You are Mary. You are Tom. You know, like that. You are a cat. You are a dog. So like that, you know, we separate each other by saying this, right? So this is a major obstacle to spiritual progress. We are attached and glorify this self-idea. One identifies with all the 5 aggregates. All 5 aggregates are me or I. Or sometimes with one of them. With one of them, the feeling or the body, you know, with one of them. As, how do we identify? As I, me, self, or soul. Now we say, this is mine. This is mine. Okay, I'll show you something and say, now, this is mine. Now, what does that mean? This comes due to craving. Craving for that. That is why I say, this is mine. When I say, this I am this, I am Sudinna. What does that show? Due to conceit, right? Then you say, this is myself. This is myself. That is due to wrong view. The 5 aggregates are, now you know the 5 aggregates, I know, but still I thought I'll just remind you. The 5 aggregates are Rupa, form, Vedana, feeling, Sanya, perception, Sankhara, volition, Vijnana, consciousness. These 5 are conditioned phenomena. Due to cause, they have come about. So that is why we say condition. Conditioned phenomena in a continuous flux, all the time changing. Now the Sudinna that sat here at the beginning is not the Sudinna now. But you don't realize it. Neither do you realize your own changes, right? Yeah, we have all changed now, right? Now, from ceasing, now there is a continuous flux, arising and ceasing from moment to moment, with no permanent nature in them. This illusion of a self results in suffering and continuous existence in samsara. It also develops mental defilements such as egoism, conceit, craving, attachment, selfishness, ill will, hatred, etc. In the Sabbasava Sutta, that is in the Majjhima Nikaya, 16 ways of paying unwise attention is given. That is concerning the past. Have I been in the past? Was there a past? There are 5 regarding past. Then for the future also 5. The same way about the future. Then about self, there are 6. That is altogether 16 ways of looking at this unwise attention. Now we come to the second one. That is, now we have, with a little, not in detail, but I hope you have got an understanding of Sakkaya Ditthi. Now we come to the next one, skeptical doubt. The Buddha says, this doubt is like being lost in a desert without a map. This is not only a fetter, but is also one of the hindrances. Remember the hindrances? It's doubt about the Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha, spiritual training, the past, the future, dependent origination, Paticca etc. All these are doubtful to that person. The third is attachment to mere rites and rituals. That is called, you remember what rites and rituals are, isn't that so? Sakkaya Ditthi, Vicikicca, Silabbata Paramasa. Now we come to Silabbata Paramasa. The belief in salvation through them. By doing all these other things, we think that we can liberate ourselves. These rituals, at that time, during the Buddha's time, there were many, many rituals because there was the Brahmins who were doing all this. These rituals Buddha referred to are the Brahmanic rituals, which only the trained Brahmins could perform. And the others had to ask them to perform for them. And they charged money and offered animal sacrifices to their gods. So it is about that actually the Buddha was talking about when he said Silabbata Paramasa. The next is sensual desire. It's not the sense organs or the objects of the sense organs. Now, for instance, eye, the form, the mouth or the tongue, taste. Now, those are the internal and the external, sense objects. But it's not those that are fetters. Then what you call by fetter? The fetter is the desire, the craving. The Buddha says, monks, I don't envision even one other fetter, fettered by which beings go on wandering on for a long time, like the fetter of craving. Bhikkhu Bodhi's translation. Craving can be of 3 kinds. Kama tanha, sensual desire. Bhava tanha, desire for continued existence in a sensual world. Vibhava tanha, craving for non-existence. This is also a latent tendency. Latent tendency means something that is in us which we don't know, which we are not really aware of until it comes up. So that is called Kamanusaya. Kama Anusaya. Now, which lies dormant in the mind at Anusaya level. Then, when it rises up to harass and enslave the mind, it's called Pariyuttana level. Pariyuttana level. When it turns into physical action of unwholesome bodily and verbal acts, it's named Vitikkama level. These 3 are, shades of the same thing. The next is ill will or Patigha, which includes several states of negative emotions like anger, resentment, aversion, hostility, and hate. All these are, it's very similar. If unwise consideration, that is called in Pali, ayoniso manasikara, arises in relation to one's object of dislike, it will lead to ill will. Rupa, now the next one is Rupa Raga. Rupa Raga means desire. Rupa means form. So desire to be born in the material worlds. When a meditator who has attained a jhana state dies, she or he is reborn in a Brahma world. But now even, Brahma worlds are very long. The life is very long. The span of life, very long. But when it is over, that person will be again reborn according to the remaining karma, whatever karma remains, right? It may be good karma and go to a good place, or bad karma and go to a bad place. So even if you go to a Brahma world, that's what can happen. So now the next one is Arupa Raga. Desire for a formless birth. That means there is consciousness, but no form, no rupa. One who has developed one of the formless jhanas will be reborn in one of the formless Brahma worlds. If you want to know more about it, you can ask at the end of the talk, right? The next fetter is conceit. This is self-pride. It refers to asmimana, where one carries the feeling, I am. This is different. Now, this is different to self-identity view of the Sakkaya Ditthi. Conceit is not the same thing. The next is restlessness, which is a mental state. If continued, one will not attain samadhi. One cannot attain concentration. This is due to lust or greed, ill will, and delusion. Also, it can be excessive effort, you see, as well as desire to achieve a certain target through meditation. In meditation also you can have a desire, and that can be excessive, and that can make you restless. This is completely eliminated at Arahantship. The final one in the Sangyojana of fetters is ignorance. Lack of knowing the Four Noble Truths, the reality of physical and mental phenomena, dependent origination, etc. Not knowing all these is ignorance or avijja. Now we come to another section that I want to introduce to you, that is connected to these, all these that we have talked about. That is the 4 stages of the path that lead to final liberation, that deal with the elimination of the fetters. The first is stream entry or Satipatthana. The first 3 fetters, Sakkaya Ditthi, Vicikiccha, Silabbata Paramasa. The first 3 fetters are eradicated with this attainment, and one is freed from being reborn in a woeful place and is certain to reach final liberation in a maximum of 7 more lives. So can you see, this Satipatthana or stream entry is a very, very beneficial one for all of us. The next is the once returner or Sakadagami, who will get rebirth only once in the human realm or in a Deva realm, and their final liberation. This stage does not eradicate any of the other fetters, but weakens greed, hatred, and delusion, so that they arise in one only mildly. Now, if one has attained Sakadagami, that person will not be very angry, not be very greedy, not be very ignorant, right? But altogether, all those three have not gone. Now, the third stage is known as the non-returner or anagami, where two more fetters, that is sense desire and ill will, are eradicated. They were weakened at Sakadagami level. Now they are eradicated. These are the main bonds that keep beings tied to samsara. The non-returner never returns to any of the sensuous realms, but attains rebirth in one of the fine form realms or heavens known as pure abodes or Suddhavasa, and there attain final liberation. The fourth stage is Arahantship, which is attained by the eradication of the 5 subtle fetters that remain unabandoned even in the non-returners. That is, the desire for existence in the form realm, formless realm, restlessness, conceit, and ignorance. They are not given up. And now, at the fourth stage, they are all eradicated. The Buddha was a realist, and he knew that for the worldling or layperson to completely cut off all sensual pleasures while living in this world is not easy. So, to the lay followers, the Buddha showed the way to heaven through virtuous living and a gradual progress to the final goal. But he formed the monastic order for those wanting salvation here and now. But he encouraged them to attain stream entry, for that would give them liberation at least in 7 lifetimes and not fall into any low rebirth. That is possible by lay as well as monastics. The Buddha, in many suttas, encouraged the cultivation of mindfulness directed to the body as a security from the fetters. Another word that came up during our last talk was non-self, sunyata. The Buddha used the word non-self because of his own experience of non-self, as against the common belief in Brahmanism during his time. That is, that there is an individual divine being from which all things arise. That is the Brahma. And it's the divine essence in you or in us that has come from the Brahma, which becomes one with the divine essence of the universe later. Later, a monk named Nagarjuna, I must tell you who Nagarjuna is a little bit, you know. Nagarjuna lived in the 3rd century BC, and he was also a monk who was very interested in this non-self. And it is because of him that Mahayana Buddhism arose, right? So, Nagarjuna used the word sunyata. The teaching of anatta makes Buddhism distinctive from all other religions that maintain a soul or atta or self. A person's sense of self comes from the 5 aggregates, for we experience the world through them and cling to them. Buddha's purpose of wanting us to understand self and know self is to bring clarity truthfulness, and order into our lives and lead us into a skillful way to happiness. All those other ways of happiness through sensual desire is not permanent. Happiness, when one finds true happiness, one does not want to know who's experiencing it, for that's not important. What does it matter if we have happiness, right? As impermanence is a key concept in Buddhism, there is no room for a permanent substance to exist within the human body. What we call a being is a combination of different sensations, thoughts, and states of consciousness. The Buddha says a human being is made up of 6 elements, and none of them is mine, me, or myself. When he understands, he means anybody, you see, understands how consciousness appears and disappears, how pleasant, unpleasant, and neutral sensations appear and disappear, his mind becomes detached. Sunyata is at the heart of all Mahayana Buddhist teachings. Wisdom is the realization of sunyata, and intellectual knowing is not enough. This concept should be experientially realized to become wisdom. Their explanation is that all phenomena are without self-essence or swabhava. Swabhava, you know the word in Sinhala also there is the word swabhava. Make a swabhava mehemai, swabhava, right? For example, though we may not be conscious of it, we think that things possess a swabhava of their own to make it what it is. Now, let us take an instance. See a toaster, you know, the toaster where we toast the bread. It is only some metal and plastic. But we give it an ID as a toaster. Similarly, a chair can be taken apart and remade into a stool. No longer is it a chair. Even a man or woman changes from a little baby to a toddler, child, young person, adult, an elderly one, etc., etc. We think reality is made up of parts, things and beings, but they are just temporary conditions. For this world is like an excess or changing all the time. This proves the teaching in dependent origination that all phenomena are interconnected and nothing is permanent. When we don't see this relativity, we think we are separate and become greedy, afraid, jealous, hateful, and prejudiced. If we try to live connectedly with everything, it will give rise to trust and confidence. Thank you. Now, if you have any questions regarding what we just now talked about, please ask. No questions? I thought you would have some questions. Then shall we do a little meditation? Today I'm going to do a metta meditation with you. So please sit down. With your back straight, spine straight, neck, head, and with sitting comfortably, relaxed. Okay, take a few deep breaths. You are ready now? Okay. So when I say this, please think, may I be happy and free from suffering. And always like myself. May my friends, neutral persons, and the hostile too be happy. And always like myself. May my friends, neutral persons, and the hostile, three kinds of people, also be happy. May all beings in this village be happy. Village or town, wherever you are, may all beings be happy. May all beings in this state, in other countries, and in the world systems be ever happy. May all beings in this village, in this state, in other countries, and in all the world systems be ever happy. So we are spreading our metta to the whole universe. May all persons, individuals, beings, creatures in all world systems be ever happy. Now we are again coming to the limited ones, that is the beings, creatures, individuals. May all of them be ever happy. So too, or may all women, men, noble ones, non-noble ones be happy. May all women, men, noble ones, non-noble ones be happy. Whoever they are, may they be happy. May the devas or gods, humans, and beings in the lower worlds, that is maybe in hell, maybe in animal world, maybe anywhere in the lower world. Be happy. Whether they are in the upper worlds, in the Deva worlds, or in the lower worlds, may all be happy. You know, there are directions, 10 directions. May all beings in the 10 directions, that is north, south, east, west, and up, above, below, and so on and so forth, all directions, be happy. May all beings in all directions be happy. I hope all of you are happy.
Yes.
And also, I want to wish a friend of mine whose birthday it is today. I hope that she will be happy, peaceful, and may she attain spiritual progress. There was a certain section in that she had sent to me. I couldn't get it out. I wanted to read it out to all of you, but I don't have it here now. So maybe next time I will read it out to you. Quite nice, interesting piece that she had written to me. So anyway, you don't have any questions, right? And what do you have any suggestions for next time?
Hello.
Yeah.
I just wanted to say I'm very happy to be part of the loving kindness meditation. I think there's a lot of people in the world that need loving kindness, and I'm very happy that we practice the loving kindness here.
I didn't quite catch your idea, Danny. Can you please say it a little louder?
I'm very happy. I think there's a lot of people in the world who need loving kindness, and I'm very happy that we do the loving kindness practice here.
Oh, now I understand what you mean. Yeah.
In the world
that is what we were talking about earlier also, Danny, that in the world there is so much of misery, and so much of misery caused by others, people cutting each other, people hurting each other, harming each other, causing death and all that kind of thing. And we are trying to, spread metta or loving friendliness. I am very happy that you thought about it. That is what we all should do every day, not only now, but every day. When you go to bed and when you get up from bed, please try to spread metta. So another friend has said that today is her granddaughter's birthday. So I wish all of you whose birthday it is today, may all of you be able to enjoy life long and be of service to the community. We will spread metta. We will spread loving kindness to all. Whether they are good or bad, it does not matter to us, you know. So what matters is how we look at the world. It does not matter about other people, you know. We can't change them. That is one of the things. But we can change our attitude to everybody, including them. So that is what we should do. Every day, try to spend a little time spreading metta, especially at this time of, you know, the world is such that everything is has turned upside down like. So let us do that. Okay? Thank you all so much for coming, and may all of you be well, happy and peaceful.
Thank you. Thank you.
Very much.
By the way, if any of you think of anything and you think that it's a good suggestion, please email it to me. Right? Okay. That is bhikkhunisudinna@gmail.com.
Sadhu.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Bhoma ping. Tiruvan saranai.
Tunran Saranai.